Hi, good afternoon. How are you? Thanks for coming. Today I want to try and talk to you for 5 minutes about this, the common or garden pencil, and basically why we call this a pencil lead. Okay, here we go. So, obviously we've had ways of drawing for thousands of years, paintings, inks, but the pencil is actually much younger than we think, than I thought it was. I assumed the pencil was quite old, but it's actually only about 500 years old. The pencil was invented in about 1500, and the thing that made the invention of the pencil possible was the discovery of a large graphite deposit in a place called Grey Knotts in northern England. Graphite is a very soft mineral. It's very similar to coal. It's a form of carbon, and it's very soft and it's black. And when people discovered this graphite, in the beginning, they thought it was a type of lead. They actually called it plumbago. And even though graphite is not lead, the name kind of stuck. So even now we say there's lead in my pencil, or I've broken the lead of my pencil, or this is a pencil lead. Don't suck your pencil, you'll get lead poisoning. Although in fact this is not actually lead, it's just the name has stuck. So in the beginning, this graphite deposit, graphite is very fragile, and it was possible to break the graphite into rods. And people could use these rods to write on paper. Of course, in the beginning, there was no wood around the pencil. People used to wrap a graphite rod in a rope or string or even sheep hide, and they would hold that and write with it. In about 1560, the first wooden holder was made for a pencil. Basically, it was a flat piece of graphite with two flat pieces of wood either side of it, and you would hold them all together and write like that. Then shortly after that, in fact, the modern style of pencil was invented. Two pieces of wood were cut, a groove was cut in the middle, the graphite rod was laid inside that, and they were glued together. So the modern form of the pencil came from about there. About 100 years after that, in about 1662, powdered graphite was invented. Up until 1662, graphite was cut from this one place in England. And this graphite mine, in fact, England had a monopoly on graphite all over the world. That was the only place in the world you could get graphite from. In 1662, there were wars between England and France became unable to buy graphite from England, became unable to buy graphite from Germany or any other country. So what they had to do is they had to make do with powdered graphite. So they came up with a way of compressing the powdered graphite to make rods. One way of doing that is to combine the graphite with other things. And one thing they combined the graphite with was clay. If you mix the graphite with clay and then put it in a kiln to harden it, you can make rods of graphite. Now, that becomes very useful, as we'll see in a second. An Australian man called Joseph Hardmuth, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Hardmuth, he realized that the more clay you put into a pencil, the lighter it gets. And the less clay you put in, the more graphite you have, the darker it gets. Now, on every pencil, you have an HB rating here. HB, I think it goes up to 10 and all the way down to -10. And that's basically how dark or how light the pencil is. What does the HB stand for, do you know? Some people think hard and brittle, some people think hard and black. It's actually the inventor of this method, Joseph Hardmuth, the H is Hardmuth, and the town where he lived, which is Budweis, is the B. So the H is his name, Hardmuth, and the B is Budweis, where he came from. That's what it stands for. And he basically invented the system of darkening or lightening pencils. Modern pencils basically use a type of cedar wood, red cedar. It's probably it's the most commonly used type of wood. To make a pencil, you get a plank of cedar, you cut grooves in it. The graphite powder is mixed with clay and is made into like a snake almost, and that's put inside the pencil and it dries. Another layer of grooved wood is glued on top, and it's basically cut into pieces by a machine, and the pencils are sharpened. Not much time. In America, people buy about 2 billion pencils every year. That's about 82,000 trees. Pencils are still very, very common. I always use a pencil, although these days these mechanical pencils, propelling pencils, are becoming much more common. This kind of pencil, of course, still uses a lead. Of course, it's not lead, it uses graphite, but it has a plastic case, so it's more environmentally friendly. Although, is it? Because, of course, the wood from a pencil will actually biodegrade, whereas the plastic in one of these mechanical pencils will not biodegrade. Plastics stay around for thousands and thousands of years. So if you think about it, this kind of pencil is actually better for the environment than this kind of pencil, although it does cause a lot of trees to be cut down. Is there a perfect system? I don't know. I've run out of time. Wow, I hope you followed that. I hope you could understand and stuck with me the whole time. That was a lot of fun. Don't forget, if you click on the link in the description section below here, you can find the script for this talk, you can find questions, and you can find sample answers. You can also find the MP3 if you want to download it and listen to it in your own time. If you liked it, click like. If you want more of these talks, click subscribe. And if you think any of your friends would like to listen to it, please share it with them. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.